We are recording!
Good. Kitte's repertoire of voices shall ever be expanding.
Oh, yeah. I was wondering how we're going to do this one.
Well, I could do a Harvey Firestein voice for her.
You could. That would be
I won't.
hilarious.
Yes, but I won't. I'll spare us that one.
If she features a lot more than we thought.
She seems like too much of an innocent soul to burden with that kind of voice.
Oh, okay. We'll get to what I was thinking of doing with her voice. So
Excellent.
Right. Who are we talking about? What's going on? Preamble. That was a great first segue into it.
Yeah, we get some insight into Breeze's departure from set.
Yes. This insight came like the same week that the episode aired, where we were speculating what was happening with Breeze. And we were like, nah, it had nothing to do with that. No, I don't think it had to do with the woman. We carried on about that. And then, boom, that week we read this chapter. Oh.
But hey, if Breeze and Alrion get married, that means that Breeze is the hero of ages, right?
Right. My dear man. You are the hero of ages. I'm the dear. Anyway.
Bloodless. Okay.
Yeah, bloodless. Yes, there we go. Seriously, say that.
Yeah, because of the bloodless bond to the world's kings. It's got to be Breeze.
There you go. Yes. It's Breeze. Sorry, Vin. Breeze is going to schmooze his way into the deepness and be like, hey, deepness, and like dampen everything. Soothe the deepness to the point where it is shallow.
Soothe him to sleep. Soothe the monster.
Mm-hmm.
It's right there. How did we not see it before?
Hello. I'm going to update the prediction log. I'm kidding. But
we get a very direct Vin this chapter.
She's just she's to the point. We need her to do that. But she does continue her arc of insecurity and shall I leave Elend?
I didn't. Yes, I did.
There were some moments there
when she puts her arm on it, or when she puts her hand on his arm at the end there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, a little bit of potential jealousy going on, I think, for a moment, which brings up, there's a moment in this chapter where I feel a tremendous amount of apprehension, and I'll address that one when we get there.
I'm apprehensive about your apprehension.
Excellent. Well, shall we get into it?
Let us.
Hello and welcome to the No One Asked You podcast. For this particular series, I am joined by my wonderful co-host, that darn Kitty.
Dorkus and I are both going into the story completely new with almost no knowledge of the story or world.
Each segment, we intend to cover what happens in each new chapter and discuss our experience along the way.
Hold on to your butts, because this is Ascension Unleashed, a blind read-through. And today we will be covering Chapter 21.
Chapter 21! He was born of a humble family, yet married the daughter of a king.
Ooh. Okay, epigraph is getting... Are we now getting to the points where he lists what made him think Alendi was the hero of ages? Please?
I think so, because we know about the bloodless bond thing. By the way, this epigraph is had me thinking, Breeze is hero of ages. Ironically, to be clear, I do not actually believe that.
But it's like, it's that, you know what that illustrates? It illustrates how silly, how fickle and vague prophecy is.
Yes. Now,
it's like, look, he fits it.
Yep. But I will also say that I have a small bit of worry, a concern that Elend might end up marrying Alrion.
Really?
Yeah.
I think he loves Vin too much.
But think of the political connection, and Vin is saying no, and we presume that Vin's gonna dump Elend for Zane.
Okay, I can see it happening in that it's like, no, it's the political gain. It's like to calm Set down or whatever. You marry the daughter, but first of all, Breeze I think does actually care about her.
I agree.
So it wouldn't. So it would be like it would be a loveless bond, not a bloodless bond. But then again, it's to me, I'm on like 30% possibility because yeah, I see the political gain that you're talking about, but the political gain for Vin and Elend to marry so much better because we
Agreed.
still need this guy.
Agreed 1000%. And to be clear, I don't necessarily think there's a particularly good chance that this will happen.
But you're scared.
I feel like it could happen. It is within the realm of possibility.
Yeah, exactly. I'm in agreement with you. It's a possibility because we of what's boiling. Yeah, what we've got going on. We've got Vin dumping or whatever she's gonna. Oh, I'm not worthy of you. Whatever that whole bull crap is gonna be, and then yeah. So I'm with you on that.
Oh, non sequitur. Because I keep forgetting to bring it up, and I've been meaning to ever since we did our last blind. Do you think the arrival of Justes and the Kolos will necessitate that Straff, Set, and Elend combine forces?
It is, again, realm of possibility, but for me, I'm thinking there's something more to what's going on with him and the Kolos there, Justes. He might... Okay, if they do have to team up against the Kolos, it's because he's lost control of the Kolos, actually. Because I feel like I think Elend will be able to sway him somehow because he's just a weaker character. I don't know what's going on with him. So if they have to team up against the Kolos, my prediction is it's because Justice can't control them. But there's also another possibility, which we were kind of introduced to there, is that they've got this culture. They just need to be left alone. So they can just go and live their lives somewhere else. So they might not need. They can be maybe negotiated with. I don't know. We have to figure out how they work. But what is your expectation? So you know the possibility, but what's the expectation?
I don't know that I have expectations. I'm imagining a scenario where the three of them are like, yeah, we need to take care of this Kolos threat and we need to do it now. So they all plan to maneuver their armies to allow for a successful attack, but both Straff and Set hold their armies back in a hope to damage the other two. Sort of like what Elend is planning to do to them. And it just ends up being really, really messy, is kind of what I'm imagining could happen.
Well, we know, you know what, we do know that the Kolos is a plot point that is going to have to come home to roost. It's going to have its effect on this whole scenario.
It's going to be exceptionally concerning for all parties involved, I think.
Yeah.
I could see Sazed getting back, telling Elend, and then Elend going to Straff and Set in not quite a panic. He'll be in a controlled but urgent manner and saying, guys, we cannot do this fight right now. A greater threat is coming. Yeah. We need to work together. And Elend's whole thing is collaborative politics. So this could be just the outside force that's needed. But at the same time, it's hard for me to imagine Elend wanting to meaningfully align with Straff. Maybe Set, but Straff specifically.
Yeah. So, and at what cost would he have to align with him?
Yeah. And will Straff be and Set be too stubborn and just willing to hold their own armies back, or hell, even retreat
Jeez, I'm just loving all the threads that are here. Threads and threats, if you know what I'm saying. Like, I'm just enjoying all the politics and the warfare and the whatever. I'm enjoying that level that we've gotten to in this book, this part of the series. I do enjoy. I love the first book, but this is another level, so I'm happy for it. And a lot has happened in what we've read. Like it's a lot.
We're getting a good chunk into it now.
Loving it.
The young woman's expensive dress, light red silk with a shawl and lace sleeves, might have lent her an air of dignity had she not scampered forward as soon as Breeze entered the room. Her light western hair bouncing, she made a squeal of happiness as she threw her arms around Breeze's neck. She was perhaps 18 years old. Ellen glanced at Ham, who stood, dumbfounded. Well, looks like you were right about Breeze and Set's daughter, Ellen whispered. Ham shook his head. I didn't think. I mean, I joked because it was Breeze, but I didn't expect to be right.
We also didn't expect you to be right. We were too busy thinking about whether you were the conjurer for making that joke actually, Breeze, but I mean Ham. But,
by design, I'm sure.
Yeah, but that's exactly what we were talking about. We're like, I mean, he was just joking. I didn't expect to be right. Oh.
And we were wondering about whether or not it was Breeze-Set relationship.
Yes, exactly.
But no, I'm happy for Breeze, and this girl seems like a very nice partner for Breeze.
Oh, that makes me wonder what am I going to do with this voice.
Can you do your best Kristen Chenoweth impression?
What is that?
Never mind then.
Exactly.
She's a tremendously talented actress who's very good at playing those bubbly sorority girl type characters.
Right. Because that's exactly how I comport myself.
Truly your toughest challenge yet as an actress.
Yes, I'm totally an actress too. So I don't know, we'll get to it and then let's see what we do with it.
Breeze, for his part, at least had the decency to look terribly uncomfortable in the young woman's arms. They stood inside the palace atrium where Ellen had met with his father's messenger. Floor to ceiling, windows let in the afternoon light, and a group of servants stood at one side of the room to wait on Ellen's orders. Breeze met Ellen's eyes, blushing deeply. I don't think I've ever seen him do that before, Ellen thought. My dear, perhaps you should introduce yourself to the king. The girl finally let go of Breeze. She stepped back, curtsying to Ellen with a noblewoman's grace. She was a bit plump, her hair long after pre-collapse fashion, and her cheeks were red with excitement. She was a cute thing, obviously well-trained for the court, exactly the sort of girl that Ellen had spent his youth trying to avoid.
I appreciated that kind of joke. Exactly the girl that he's got to avoid. Did that make you go, oh, that means that he is going to land up marrying her?
I think that was the seed of that concern, yes. They're going to... She'll be very nice and reasonable and kind and polite, but he's going to be like, I hate this woman. I hate what she represents. I do not like her. And it's going to make it all the more heart-wrenching if they actually do have to play it being a couple.
Yeah. And when we do get Vin's kind of, oh, this is the kind of woman that he's supposed to be with, that is another
Bingo!
seed. Yeah. Okay, I'm with you.
Right on the money there, yeah. Ellen, might I introduce Alrion Set, daughter to Lord Ashweather Set, King of the Western Dominance.
So what are we going to do? Am I going to do English-ish? Because I can at least do something English.
Up to you.
Yeah. I don't know. Because she's if I'm thinking of the way, okay, let's do some sort of try to get Kitty to act thing. If I'm thinking of the way she acts, it is the way that I act when simping to Gordon, right? So like holding on to him and whatever, like it's probably like what she's doing. And I do speak sweetly to him, But yeah, that's in my accent. So what would you like? This, I don't know.
Could you do Southern again,
Okay.
but like hyped up so that it's clear that it's not Valette?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I was wondering if I do Southern again. That was another possibility that went through my mind. Your Majesty.
Elend nodded. Lady Set? He paused, then with a hopeful voice continued. Your father sent you as an ambassador?
He didn't exactly send me, Your Majesty.
Oh dear, Breeze said, pulling out a handkerchief to dab his brow. He's so nervous.
He's so embarrassed. Just another going back to the fact that it was like the first time any of them had seen it. Ellen had seen him blush. I'm loving it.
Yeah, he's surprisingly private about this side of himself.
Is that why he's blushing? Because like, you're not supposed to see this, you're not supposed to know this, and that makes me think he really does like her. He really has affection for her. That's what makes him so embarrassed, because she has an effect on him.
Yeah, and he wants to be the cold, callous, self-serving character, and like that's all just laid bare before the group now.
With her, just like, yeah, exactly. She's evidence that he's not.
Ellen glanced at Ham, then back at the girl. Perhaps you should explain, he said, gesturing toward the atrium's seats. Alrion nodded eagerly, but stayed close to Breeze as they sat. Ellen waved for some servants to bring chilled wine. He had a feeling he was going to want something to drink.
I seek asylum, Your Majesty. I had to go. I mean, Breezy must have told you how my father is.
Breeze sat uncomfortably, and Alrion put an affectionate hand on his knee. How your father is?
He's so manipulative, so demanding. He drove Breezy away, and I absolutely had to follow. I wouldn't spend another moment in that camp, a war camp. He brought me, a young lady, along with him to a war. Why, do you know what it's like to be leered at by every passing soldier? Do you understand what it's like to live in a tent? We rarely had fresh water, and I couldn't take a decent bath without fear of peeping soldiers. During our travels, there was dreadful nothing to do all day but sit in the carriage and bounce, bounce, bounce. Why, until Breezy came, I hadn't had a refined conversation in weeks, and then Father drove him away.
You're doing so good, Kitta. I love it. Because? Ham asked eagerly. Breeze coughed.
I had to get away, Your Majesty. You have to give me asylum. I know things that could help you. Like, I saw my father's camp. I'll bet you don't know that he's getting supplies from the cannery in Haverfrex. What do you think of that?
Oh, she's trying so hard.
Kitty too? Oh, I should have made the joke Alarian's also trying hard.
That's what I meant.
I know, but I'm trying. Yeah, I was trying to make the joke that I'm trying hard. Trying to put that joke together. Okay. Yeah, she's trying really hard. She's just trying to pull out all kinds of things. Look. I can help. And she's not very helpful.
She asks for asylum. That is a very specific term.
Mm-hmm.
Which, would put her under the refugee category, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And then I'm so glad they talk about it by the end of this. That brings up, is she a political prisoner? Is she a refugee? Is she a whatever?
Is she a hostage? He would, I think Seth would see her as a hostage.
Yeah.
But she came of her own volition.
Yeah. And the question is, or will become, how in the loop will they keep Alrion? And
how in the loop can they keep her?
Yeah, and will she be willing to play ball?
If Breezy tells her.
Then I suspect so.
Yeah, she'll do anything for Breezy.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
Impressive? Alrion nodded curtly. And you came to find Breeze? Alrion flushed slightly, glancing to the side. When she spoke, she displayed little tact.
I had to see him again, Your Majesty. So charming, so wonderful. I wouldn't have expected Father to understand a man such as he.
I see.
Please, Your Majesty, you have to take me in. Now that I've left father, I have nowhere else to go.
You may stay. For a time, at least, Ellen said, nodding greetings to Doxson, who had entered through the atrium doors. But you've obviously had a difficult trip. Perhaps you would like an opportunity to refresh yourself?
Oh, I would appreciate that, Your Majesty.
Ellen eyed Caden, one of the palace stewards, who stood at the back of the room with other servants. He nodded. Rooms were prepared. Then, Caden will lead you to some rooms. We will take dinner this evening at 7 and can speak again then.
Thank you, Your Majesty.
Orion said, jumping up from her chair. She gave Breeze another hug, then stepped forward, as if to do the same for Ellen. Fortunately, she thought better of it, instead allowing the servants to lead her away.
I love that awkward moment. She's
Yes.
like, listen, she's cute. She's a cute thing.
It was delightfully awkward, but she stopped herself, so she's not like completely
clueless.
Clueless as to reading the room. She's just very bubbly, and I think, what's the word I'm looking for?
She's eager.
Yeah.
And she's a bit slow on the uptake of reading the room. So she can do it, but she's got to hold herself back. And it takes a bit longer for her to figure out what she's got to do, because she's just got so much energy.
Yeah. Ellen sat. Breeze sighed deeply, leaning back in a wearied posture as Doxson walked forward, taking the girl's seat. That was unexpected, Breeze noted. There was an awkward pause, the atrium trees shifting slightly in the breeze from the balcony. Then, with a sharp bark, Ham began to laugh. The noise sparked Ellen, and despite the danger, despite the gravity of the problem, he found himself laughing as well. I suppose all moments of tension need to be broken at some point, right?
Yeah, it's absurd. When you laugh because there's tension, because it's not just a woman arriving and that's funny. It's a big deal, but of all the people, it's Breeze, and that's what's making everyone. It's just absurd, and I would also be laughing.
Yeah,
and then Breeze's reaction also would make me laugh harder.
Yeah, and honestly, this is going to be a political boon to Elend and his kingdom, I think. So that's good.
It's a complication, but it's another lever to pull.
Yeah.
It's another option. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, honestly, Breeze huffed, which only encouraged them. Perhaps it was the sheer incongruity of the situation. Perhaps it was because he needed to release tension. But Elend found himself laughing so hard he almost fell from the chair. Ham wasn't doing much better, and even Doxson cracked a smile. I fail to see the levity in this situation. The daughter of Lord Set, a man who is currently besieging our home, has demanded asylum in the city. If Set wasn't determined to kill us before, he certainly will be now. I know. I know. It's just... it's the image of you being hugged by that courtly fluff cake. I can't think of anything more awkward than you being confronted by an irrational young woman. This throws another wrinkle into things, Doxson noted. Although I'm not accustomed to you being the one to bring us a problem of this nature, Breeze. Honestly, I thought we would be able to avoid unplanned female attachments now that Kel is gone.
I appreciate that, Doxson.
Yeah. Made me miss Kelsier.
Yeah, what's new? Always missing Kelsier. Just the suave Kelsier that just would definitely have more than girl crushes going on. Oh, God. I miss Kelsier. So witty, so sexy.
This isn't my fault. The girl's affection is completely misplaced. That's for sure. Why is Ham so mean? Well, I guess Breeze is mean in reverse, so okay.
Yeah, that's their relationship.
Yeah, although this does strike me as something that I suspect Breeze is uniquely sensitive to, and I wish Ham clued into that.
Yeah, it's the usual joke, but no, really, Ham is properly. Breeze is properly going through something here. Okay.
Yeah.
But that's male friendship. Okay, you just slap each other around all the time.
True.
All right. What was that pink thing I just passed in the hallway?
Ellen turned to find Vin standing arms folded in the atrium doorway. So quiet. Why does she walk stealthily even in the palace? She never wore shoes that clicked, never wore skirts that could rustle, and never had metal on her clothing that could clink or be pushed by alamancers.
Do we see that as like the opening for him to start comparing Vin to other women, or it's just the observation? It's just the way he thinks.
The arms crossed suggested to me a little bit of tension on her part. Obviously, we don't get her POV, but we do know her to be the jealous type.
But the neurotic, like, who is this? But no, I'm just asking with Ellen, from Ellen's point of view, the comparing. Is it just an opening? Like, there's no value put on this. He's not going, oh well, she's like this. It's just he's noticing a difference.
I don't think Ellen has that mindset in the slightest. I think that's purely Vin's own trauma and neuroticism.
So my trauma and neuroticism in place of Vin's responded to him thinking that, immediately going, oh, you see, he's comparing.
See, but he also thought he really didn't like that kind of woman earlier in the
Yeah, exactly. But you know what? I'm going to find all the reasons. Vin and I will find all the reasons that Ellen truly wants this other woman. Don't worry.
Sure. That wasn't pink, my dear. That was red.
Close enough. She was bubbling to the servants about how hot her bath water needed to be and making certain they wrote down her favorite foods.
Oh, that's Ulrion. We'll probably have to get a new pastry chef. Either that or have desserts ordered in. She's rather particular about her pastries.
That's like, he actually cares so much about her. Like, sorry, I would be like, listen, you're seeking asylum. You're going to have to make some compromises here. You don't get a certain...
We're in a siege.
Yeah, exactly. You don't get a certain pastry chef or whatever. But he's like, we'll get her a pastry chef. We'll have to. We'll absolutely just have to get it. We'll import, that sort of... I'm like, siege. Exactly, Dorkus. So, Breeze. Got it bad, boy.
And just from that description, I'm like, yep, this is the girl for Breeze.
Exactly.
Ulrion Set is the daughter of Lord Set, Elend explained as Vin, ignoring the chairs, sat on the edge of a planter beside his chair, laying a hand on his arm. That note was like, okay, maybe she is a bit concerned about Ulrion here, because that seems like a little bit of a possessive move, yeah?
Yeah, that's quite a possessive move. It's like, I'm guarding him. Hey.
Yeah, like, you're mine, not hers. Apparently, she and Breeze are something of an item, and it's no coincidence that sentence comes right after she grabs his arm.
Exactly. Look, it is the main focus of the whole. I mean, that's what we're laughing at and all of that. So there's plausible deniability here, but so maybe Ellen's not conscious of what he's doing, but immediately he goes straight to that part because it's like, hey, hold on, hey, she's not after me. Don't worry.
He knows her. He knows, as well as anyone could know her. So he knows what to say.
It's like, okay, like he's basically like, you don't need to go and kill her. So don't do that.
Excuse me? Vin wrinkled her nose.
That's disgusting, Breeze. You're old. She's young.
So that seemed like a very direct... So look, I know we're coming off the heels of the concerning revelation regarding Straff, but it is made clear that she seems to be 18, which is nice. And this... So I feel on one hand like Vin is perhaps being a bit judgmental here, but also I can get the reaction to such a potential age gap.
Well,
I'm very conflicted. But
she doesn't know she's 18. She says, maybe I should have made that more disgusting. because had more disgust in it, because she thinks that she was about 12. I don't know if Vin is just being mean there, though. That's what I'm feeling like she's over exaggerating.
I think it's being mean, and I think
Yeah.
it's her trying to perhaps state for Ellen's sake that she's too young to do anything with.
But I mean, I think Vin is around this, like, it's a negligible amount of time between Vin's age and her age. So it's not a good argument, even if she is bringing that up.
Aren't they about the same age?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, but she's seeing this girl as much more immature and vapid. So.
But this is the start of the apprehension element that we'll get into later. The start of that discussion that causes the apprehension. We'll get there. There was no relationship. Besides, I'm not that old, nor is she that young.
She sounded like she was about 12.
Aldrion was a child of the country court, a little innocent, a little spoiled, but she hardly deserves to be spoken of in that manner. She's actually quite witty in the right circumstances. He's defending her. He does like her.
So, was there anything between you?
Of course not. Well, nothing real, though it could have been taken the wrong way. Was taken the wrong way, once her father discovered. Anyway, who are you to talk, Vin? I seem to remember a certain young girl pining for an old Kelsier a few years back. Ellen's perked up at this.
I've never pined over Kelsier.
Not even in the beginning? Come now, a dashing man like him. He saved you from being beaten by your old crew leader, took you in.
You're a sick man,
Vin declared, folding her arms.
Kelsier was like a father to me.
Eventually, perhaps, but Ellen held up a hand. And before we get any further, so this is the part that has me really, really apprehensive, because I think this is the second or third time the topic of Kelsier Vin shipping is brought up. And I really sincerely hope that whatever it is Brandon Sanderson is building toward with this sticks the landing. Because for the life of me, I do not remember one single sentence in the first Mistborn book to even suggest at any point that Vin Kelsier would be a thing.
Yeah.
And it feels so revisionist history to me that, like, if Sanderson, whatever he's doing, if Sanderson cannot stick the landing on whatever it is that he's building here, I do not like this element of the book. What do you think?
Yeah, revisionist history. I agree. If he tries to retcon and implant certain thoughts and things that we just conveniently were never privy to from the first book, that would be clunky, not nice, not smooth, not expertly done. So I agree. The only thing I could even point to in the first book was just maybe that Vin knew he was handsome and powerful and stuff. So the fact is, you could call it a kind of crush in that she liked how cool he was, but there was never a romantic thing, no romantic crush part.
Yeah.
Like, so maybe it did look that she looked that way because she was pining after him. I can take that. I can accept that it looked that way, but I can't accept Vin coming to the realization that, oh no, actually I did really want Kelsier. Like, you. Like, you don't move between father figure and crush figure. I don't know. Well, maybe I'm just balanced that way, but I just don't think that that's how it happens.
Even her thinking he's handsome is a bit too charitable for my personal interpretation of it. And it's like the love triangle in the first book was Ellen, Vin, Spook, not Ellen, Kelsier, Vin.
Yes.
So again, I sincerely hope that Brandon Sanderson is building to something important here.
Yeah. What he could build upon is the idea that Kelsier actually, despite his age or whatever, is the one that they would expect her to be interested in. So the Mistborn Calcia-esque person is what she's expected to be with, and they could build upon that, because we have now Zane, who is basically the appropriate version, as far as she knows, the appropriate version of Calcia. He's the right age, and he does Calcia-esque things. He's mysterious and just he's the younger version that maybe she would like. And I think she does have certain crush tendencies towards him, at least curiosity at least. I don't think she's there at the romance yet. And she has the insecurity of Elend building as well. So yeah, there is, I don't have the hugest concern, because I have faith in Sanderson. That's all.
I do have faith in Sanderson as well. So if I've laid it on a bit thick regarding the apprehension, to clarify, I have more faith that he will stick the landing than I do apprehension that he won't. Just to clarify.
Yeah, it's more like, how is he going to stick the landing? Like, what is he doing with this? That's what you're just feeling. Just like, what are you doing with this? You keep bringing this up. We can see you playing this note, and we want to know where you're going to go with it. So yeah, I'm with you on it.
Elend held up a hand. Enough. This line of discussion is useless. Bree snorted but fell silent. Tindwell is right. They will listen to me if I act like I expect them to. We have to decide what to do. The daughter of the man threatening us could be a very powerful bargaining chip.
You mean take her hostage?
Someone has to state the obvious, Finn.
I thought it was pretty funny. Like,
it was.
Someone had to state the obvious, Vin. It's like, well, Vin did state the obvious. Doxson stated the obvious. Vin stated the even more obvious. So
it's very dry.
Yeah, I enjoy. Again, this is remember, we just really enjoy Branderson dialogue. I enjoy that. That was snappy.
Yeah. Not really a hostage. She came to us after all. Simply letting her stay could have the same effect as taking her hostage. That would risk antagonizing Set. Our original plan was to make him think we're his ally. We could give her back. That could get us a long way in the negotiations. And her request? The girl wasn't happy in her father's camp. Shouldn't we at least consider her wishes? All eyes turned toward Elend. A mere few weeks ago, they would have kept on arguing. It seemed strange that they should so quickly begin to look to him for decisions. Who was he? A man who had haphazardly ended up on the throne? A poor replacement for their brilliant leader? An idealist who hadn't considered the dangers his philosophies would bring? A fool? A child? An imposter? The best they had. I liked that segment.
Yeah, because he's going through it. That's the journey he's on at the moment. He has those questions, and Tindwell's like, hey, you have to accept that you are the best that they have. There's no alternative. So don't sit and ponder. Don't ruminate on that. You have to go forward. It comes off that conversation we just had with Tindwell. So I enjoy that.
And he is improving very quickly, and that's good.
Yeah.
She stays for now. Perhaps we'll be forced to return her eventually, but this will make a useful distraction for Set's army. Let them sweat for a bit. It'll only buy us more time. The crew members nodded, and Breeze looked relieved. I'll do what I can, make the decisions as I see they must be made, then accept the consequences.
Oh, Elend's growing.
He is. I like him so much more now.
Yeah, he's really doing well. Yay, Elend.
Yeah.
Rising to the occasion. Vin, stop being stupid.
Yeah.
Zane is just being the Jacob, okay? Just about that, okay? Get over it.
Please.
I actually like this the way he's doing this romance, actually. It's actually not that bad. It's not Twilighty as much as I'm making comparisons. It's subtle-ish. It's interesting. It's part of the intrigue of the world at the moment. I'm not like, oh, can we just get over this romance stuff? It weaves in nicely, I feel.
I agree. It is one of several plots going on, and I'm invested in the plot.
Yeah. Also, Breeze again just comes to the girl's defense. Oh, she wasn't happy in her father's camp. So I want to know more about what happened between those two, because he says her father discovered what? What were you guys doing? Just talking? Nothing happened. I don't know.
Maybe it was an emotional outburst, but I love him, Dad.
Yeah.
We're gonna be married.
He's like, Breeze, he's my man. Oh, I want to see more of them together because it's funny.
Agreed. Okay, well, it was a relatively short chapter, so thank you all for tuning in. There's a Discord in my channel description. I don't promote it too much, but come hang out. I post memes. And go subscribe to that darn Kite, because she's awesome and has a great channel, and she's doing cool stuff.
Yeah.
Have a wonderful week, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
Goodbye.
Bye.